there was this sort of, we knew about it, and I think it was one of these conversations that just evolved to say, do you think we should take part? And once it got to that point, I'm one of these people that says, actually that sounds quite interesting, and if I say no now, I'll only regret it. On the training side, there's no manual for it. It's an ultra endurance event. You're training for something that you don't actually know how long it's going to take you. Most pairs, the average crossing time for a pair on the Atlantic is about 57 days. So you mentally think, well, it's about a 60-day, give or take a bit of event. We had to have a boat built. So that was part of the project as well. There's also the planning for the food, the equipment, everything we needed to take, because the whole idea of the race is you're completely self-contained. You start in Canary Islands, you finish in Barbados, you've had no assistance along the way. So there's all these things that you need to survive, and it's an element of, obviously there's a big physical challenge, but there's a big survival challenge, fitness challenge, mental challenge that goes with it. During the preparation, I mean, it was interesting, Lincoln and I were chatting, I mean, one of the things we learned very quickly was the boat was incredibly heavy. Fully laden at the start of the race, we were 1.2 tons. Two of us, 250 kilos of food, safety equipment, life raft, everything you need for a crossing. So when the boat itself was actually very light, it was carbon fiber, and that was the one thing we could at least get as light as we could, but everything else was going to be what it was going to be. When we started training, it was incredibly heavy to pull this boat. And I remember the first week of training in April of last year saying, do you know what, how on earth are we going to get this boat from here to here? And we came off the water and our hands hurt and our backs ached, and you know, we were thinking, okay, that's 3 days, you know, what's it going to be like? So there was an element of, we need to train to get rid of all this, to get rid of the muscle ache. So a lot of the work that we did was core strength, was a lot of leg work, because that's where the power was, and just trying to give ourselves the muscle mass that we needed. It was essential. I mean, you know, I've said this to Lincoln, you know, we wouldn't have done as well as we did without all the training that certainly I did here in Singapore. And Toby, my colleague in the UK, did, you know, we did similar things. I mean, in terms of the race, we won. So the achievement of winning was enormous. I mean, it really was huge. The world record, we missed the world record for the pairs by just over 3 hours. We knew we were on record pace for a large part of the journey, but we also knew that there were many things that would factor whether or not we were going to do it. We're the second fastest pair ever to have rowed across the Atlantic, which, you know, bearing in mind neither of us were rowers, neither of us had ever done something like this before. You know, for that achievement alone, I think both of us will think, well, you know, it was worth all the pain. We raised a lot of money for charity. Part of doing it was we supported a charity called Shelterbox, which provides basically a box that contains a tent and everything that a family who's lost their home needs to be able to survive. And we've raised now over 100,000 Singapore dollars, over 50,000 pounds for that charity, as a result of people following us online and tracking the race and seeing what we did. Yeah, I wouldn't say I stepped off the boat thinking I can do anything now, but there is that inner confidence that it gives.